How is everyone doing today? It is September 6th of 2025, and uh, 2 videos ago I showed my third favorite tomato. It was the Cherokee Green tomato. And then last video I showed was my second favorite tomato. It's the Sartre Lois. This video I'm super excited to show my very favorite tomato of all time. This is the Black Beauty tomato. You can see him right here. Um, what can I tell you about the Black Beauty? It is from a tomato breeder named Brad Gates, from a place called Wild Boar Farms. It is an indeterminate plant. It is also one that is open sourced or true to type. I believe the seeds were first offered, the true to type or open source seeds, through Baker's Creek in 2015. So this tomato has only been around for about 10 years. But it was a cross between a pink Berkeley tie-dye and one called a Blue Boy. One of the Blue Boy is probably where it gets its anthocyanin, and it's known as the blackest tomato that there is. As you can see right here, all the dark coloration comes from where we have trimmed the stuff back. The substance anthocyanin that comes into this tomato gets more and more of it based on light saturation. So we were able to trim a bunch of these back and get some good light saturation. It normally will come out like a little bit of a reddish color at first, and as the anthocyanin forms, it gets darker and darker. But look how dark these tomatoes are. Once again, it was a cross, from what I read, from a pink Berkeley tie-dye and one called the Blue Boy. I don't know if I've ever seen the Blue Boy before, but once they have the cross of those two types, they grow it out multiple generations, saving seeds from the plants that exhibit the best look or whatever they're wanting until you get established seeds. So these actually come from our saved seeds. We've grown it probably with varying results up and down for the past 5-6 years, maybe, ever since we first ran into it. We're really big fans of anthocyanin tomatoes. It's what kind of gives them the dark color on a couple of these. This is a high anthocyanin type right here too. The reason I like anthocyanin so much is it gives it almost like a bitter wine taste. But we're going to take these inside, open them up, and talk a little bit more about them. This is the Black Beauty tomato. It is September 6th of 2025, and my UT's very favorite tomato. In perspective, Angel's favorite tomato right now is still the Cherokee Purple. A few years ago, I kind of came up, it was my favorite too, and a few years ago I kind of came off when I started eating this tomato, and it's done well in our yard the few years that it has done well. We've had a couple bad tomato seasons, but it wasn't necessarily because of this. I wouldn't say it's extra disease resistant, but it's also like a lot of heirloom indeterminate types. It does hold its own for the most part. But it's the Black Beauty tomato. It has a really excellent unique flavor, and take it inside, open it up, and maybe talk a little bit more about it. Love you guys. Catch you again in a second. All right, so we're gonna save seeds on all of these. This is absolutely my very favorite tomato. Open up and show you. Look how dark this one got right here. It's a really cool tomato. If I was to compare the flavor of this tomato to any other type of tomato, I think the only one that I could get close to is maybe the Black Brandywine. The Black Brandywine is a purple tomato. I would more consider the Black Brandywine a purple tomato with a little bit of a unique, almost like fermented flavor to it. And I think a lot of that comes even more when you're talking about this tomato here. But I'll open up a couple more of these in just a second. It has a really unique taste. The reason I keep referencing the Black Brandywine is that the only one I could say that has the same profile as this, kind of, and one that might be a little more common. We've had pink Brandywine, we've had the yellow Brandywine before. They do have the wine taste in those, but the Black Brandywine might be an anthocyanin type, or at least it has the darker purple tomato flavor. It's hard to explain. It's almost the anthocyanin, wherever you can get that really strong into the tomato, it almost tastes like grape juice or wine. It's almost like a fermented wine, almost like a bittersweet flavor. It's not necessarily like fruity sweet, it's more like wine or grape sweet. But But look at how beautiful these tomatoes look. And there's lots of different reasons. Go ahead and try something. There's lots of different reasons that I can be a sucker for a name, and I would never advise anybody grow something like that. This one just produces really meaty chunks. You could lean over into making really excellent salsa. I think it would also make an excellent wine. Not an excellent wine, an excellent salsa or sauce. It would be good for one to slice up onto hamburgers or sandwiches. It just has a lot of versatile use. I think Angel rates this one really high. I don't think it's in her top 3, but I think she rates it really high because before we moved down here and started growing the Cherokee Purple ourselves and getting some from the market and such, which is the Cherokee Purple is her favorite. We had the black brandy wine growing in a yard in Salt Lake City, Utah, before we moved down to the small town of Southwest Utah where we live right now. You can see really meaty chunks.
It is really good and sweet, and it has a smoky flavor to it, which I like it. It's not super high in the acid department either. Like, I thought it would have a little more acid. It's got strong flavor, low acids, really sweet and smoky. So that's what I got from it.
We are gonna get an absolute horde of seeds. But look how pretty the tomato is. It starts to turn like a little bit reddish, but when it's still in the green state, where the sun isn't hitting as much, this might have been where a branch was laying, where the sun does hit, that's where the anthocyanin forms. And it really does. With this one, since there's so much of it, you can really taste the impact of it. Yeah. Anthocyanin is the same substance. It's in blackberries, blueberries, other tomatoes that are kind of like that. And anthocyanin, when it's starting to form, it almost forms like a dark indigo purple. And then it turns into what would be like almost like a flat black or just a plain solid black color like that. But a really like Black Beauty's an excellent, cool name. It's supposed to be the blackest tomato. It's one of those ones that's only been around for about 10 years. Like I was saying, it comes from a tomato breeder in the U.S. here, I believe, named Brad Gates, that has a company his grower's called Wild Boar Farms, and they go through Baker Creek a lot. So a lot of times if you're in Baker Creek, seed catalog and stuff like that, you'll see stuff from Wild Boar Farms. He's already has several other really unique, excellent types of tomatoes, but this one right here, only being 10 years old, if I have to grow this for the next 40 years myself, then I'll be growing this into heirloom status, because it is just an excellent, well-rounded tomato. It comes from an indeterminate plant. It's not super disease resistant, and some of our heirlooms, I would say, this one right here has had a couple wonky seasons from us. But these come from seeds that come from seeds that come from seeds that come from those original seeds that we brought maybe 6 years ago. And we've been trying to get it back in the yard every single time. When I first sat down with this, we weren't even the ones that grew it. It came from a farm market. Our little tiny town local farm market had a tomato grower there that had just really some unique types, and so it opened our eyes to some of these cool types. And I sat down with this one a long time ago and did a video with it. I believe it was this one and the Blue Beauty, which is also another excellent tomato that I also believe is from Brad Gates at the Wild Boar Farms. But cool name, strong growing indeterminate plant, really cool colors, really unique flavor. Like I was saying, I can't really put this in the dusky margin of tomatoes, which I put some tomatoes. I can't really put it into purple. I can't really put it into red. The only thing I can really describe it as is the black brandy wine, if anybody's tried that one, because of the flavor that comes from it. It's almost tart, but it's not like a tart that gives you sour or pucker face. It's more of just like a tart that it's bittersweet.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good tomato.
That one kind of looks like a heart shape too. It loves me. This tomato loves me. But this is the Black Beauty tomato. It is my absolute favorite tomato. I'm super excited to have a bunch of them growing. We're big time seed savers. We're going to go ahead and cut this one up into chunks. What we do, this one right here has enough. There'll be enough tomatoes left over. We'll probably do a salsa with this one. just because it'll be enough of this one kind to kind of create a flavor. Normally what we do is after we seed them, we take the chunks and we make that into a salsa. We call it our salsa mulch, which is just all the excess tomatoes and stuff that we start pulling off the vine. And man, just really, really excited about this one. It's got a really good texture inside. It's like a really juicy, meaty texture. Not really ever mealy that we've ever tried it.
Very good.
I noticed in the last video it kind of looked like things were mealy based on the camera, but it's not. It's really just an overall excellent tomato. But this is the Black Beauty tomato. I'll take you outside for one last look at the plant, and really excited to have it in the yard. My #1 tomato. Anything else you want to say about it, hon?
Nope, just it's really good, and I recommend giving it a shot if you haven't.
All right, love you guys, and catch you in just a second. All right, so that's the Black Beauty tomato. I can't really say enough about this tomato. I would like to bring up some negatives just because I don't want to always like gush over tomatoes, but you know what I mean? This year has just been so amazing for me. I have my 3rd favorite, my 2nd favorite, and my 1st favorite tomatoes all growing side by side. Other than that, we did a lot of unique. This one right here is actually the carbon, and it's got a couple tomatoes producing down at the edge here, but not really anything to speak about. And then the next 5 tomatoes are tomato types that are completely brand new to us. But of these 4 major types that we grew right here are all from our own seeds, and actually multi-generational seeds. So we grew these ones out several different seasons, saved the seeds, and then every time we've grown them out and every time we've done well with them, we go on a massive seed saving expedition and save up a hoard. But so you can see right here, anywhere it's kind of getting the sun, this one kind of gets it coming up. This is the east over here. It kind of gets a lot of sun in the morning up through here, and then it also, as it comes over the top and comes down to the west. So as the cold season kind of gets closer, the sun's going to keep leaning back farther and farther. It creates a shadow band that kind of comes around the yard. But anywhere it's not getting the saturation, you'll see it'll stay pale green, and it'll start to turn like that reddish color that was on the ones inside. But we pulled, I don't know, there must have been like maybe 8 tomatoes or more that we just pulled off of that. They can get bigger. A lot of times if you grow it in the ground, you can have more root space for it. This year we only did single plants. A lot of times we've done doubles and been able to still produce quite a bit off of this type right here. This is just a bad spot for tomatoes in general. We kind of put the carbon here just because it was the strongest plant, and by the end of the season it doesn't do well, but that's a bad spot next to this pine tree here. But really excited about this. It's the Black Beauty tomato. Like I was saying, the seeds were introduced in 2015, but it is an open sourced or established variety where if you go out and buy the seeds and you know how to save tomato seeds, you can have this like growing in your yard repetitively over and over and over again. And that's what we plan on doing, and that's what we kind of have been doing up until this point. But I didn't want to take the opportunity to show my 3rd, 2nd favorite tomato in videos and then miss out on my very favorite. So the Black Beauty tomato, beautiful tomato, cool name, strong growing indeterminate plant, can be really productive, produces a tomato that can be used for a slicer. It's good for salsas, it gets good for soups, it's good for just eating plain kind of. I would say if there was a weakness for it, eating them plain, but a lot of times when you grow a large tomato, that's not your goal, is to snack on that type specifically. But this one right here, it's not really acidic, but it does have a strong wine-like flavor, or almost like grape juice, where it can be over time, it could be overwhelming. I can imagine eating too much of this one might be a little bit of a flavor overload. Generally speaking, I like a lot milder tomatoes if I'm talking about snacking. Angel might be into that stronger tomato flavor and snacking a bit more than I am, but personally it might be a little bit strong for snacking if I was to say there was one negative thing about this. Otherwise it's excellent to use for, you know, really meaty, lots of different uses and stuff. So I would always advise as well, if you're interested in growing this and watching this video, I would go online and take a look at it. Look at some other people's reviews. I have seen a couple places where the plants haven't done that well for others. I'm not sure, like we we're kind of spoiled on tomatoes this season, and we've been growing in this same space for this is our 11th season now, so we could just be doing really, really well with this plant specifically. But I would advise, look up reviews, look at other people maybe talking about the flavor, get a better understanding of it. We're just a small family in a small town, just doing a quick little personal experience video more than it is almost like a tutorial video or a true like review or taste test. So in my opinion, it's the #1 tomato. It edged out the Cherokee Purple for me. The Cherokee Purple edged out the Black Brandywine, which is the closest to this tomato to Angel. So I think she might, by the end of this season, be putting this up in her top 3. Her top 3, my top 3 was the Black Beauty is 1, Sart Rollois is 2, Cherokee Green is 3. Her top 3 in perspective is the Cherokee Purple's her #1. One called the Hawaiian Pineapple is #2. And #3 this season, she put up the Sart Rollois. So even though me and her wouldn't put this in our top 5 for flavor, because it's just kind of like has this weird flavor, the Sart Rollois, it still hit #3 just because we, like I was saying, we can be a sucker for a cool name, a pretty tomato. We want to have as many different colors so it looks like a candy store in our yard. Really, really loving the garden this season. Super excited to have it. Can't say enough. The Black Beauty tomato. It is September 6th, 2025. UT Angel and Kiddo, love you guys and catch you next time. Thanks for watching.